Hey guys, look where I'm at. Home sweet home. That's right, I'm in the chapel at church, right where we all belong together. But right now, as you can see, I'm all alone. There's nobody here but me. Unless one of the pastors is somewhere else in the church getting ready for what they've got to do. But we are totally missing you guys. We are so looking forward to spending quality time with you. Looking forward to the hugs. Looking forward to being able to see each other face to face, stare at each other in the eyes, hold each other's hands, probably cry our eyes out and do those long hugs that before you thought were those long, obnoxious, uncomfortable hugs. And now you're like, I'm not letting go. And I'm talking to you that are not huggers, but you're going to get a hug whether you like it or not. You're probably going to get tackled. But let's go around the room, shall we? Right here, in one of these seats, or maybe the one I'm sitting in, you would have our guest speaker. Getting ready to go up and speak as soon as the music's done. Behind me, you would have the lovely ladies like Anita and Thelma and Sarah over here, and maybe Labina, but she might be one row behind. Behind her, you would have, let's see, I'm switching hands again because I think I'm blocking the shot. You would have Genesis. Behind him, you would have Steve Anderson. Behind him, all the way back there, you would most likely have Jen Hadraba, if, and only if, she's not running around giving everybody hugs. And over here in that chair over there, that would be pushed away, and that's where Susan would be sitting with probably her caregiver sitting next to her. All the way back over here would be Liz. And I'm going to get up. So over here in the back on the floor, and this is like during when the sermon's in motion, you're going to have Ben, you're going to have Caden, and Michael. They'll probably be sitting back there. Over here, up front, you're going to have Vonnie. She's going to be somewhere over here. And either this one, or that one. Whatever her mood that week, she'll be in one of those seats. Right over here, you're going to have Matt, and you're going to have Shelly, and Mariah, and McKenna, and behind them you're going to have my beautiful wife Heather, and Eli and Jonah. Behind, oh, and then next to them, most likely you're going to have Hay and Michael, if they're not behind them. And usually behind them, or the row behind that, is the Morrisons. So on the end you'll have Lena, and you'll have Wayne and Becca and Kyle, and then back over yonder, when the band is up there, you're going to have Caden running sound and making it sound awesome. Behind him will be yours truly, me, doing the computers and whatever I need to do there. Next to me, you'll have Rick. And Rick is keeping me company, and he is covering for me when I come up here. Sorry, unnecessary zooms. I'm sorry. Over here, I'll come and do announcements. I'll be here, and my buddy Wayne is going to be right behind me, playing his bass, if not Kyle. And then next to me, giggling in my ear, laughing about something, you'll have my buddy Ben. And next to him, you'll have Becca, who's singing her heart out and telling us about her amazing cards that she made for people's birthdays or anniversaries or whatever, and that she has in the back, and she's telling us all about them. Over there, you'll have our awesome redhead and playing her guitar and singing her heart out to God. And behind her, if he's here, you'll have Matt also playing guitar. And over yonder, right there, You're going to have Michael tickling the ivories and impressing us with his awesome talent. Did I mention sticks? I don't remember if I said sticks. I don't think I said sticks. Wayne's playing the drums right there. Sticks right there. Right on to Jesus. We miss you guys. We miss having fun. We miss joking around. We miss the long hugs. When 180 is back, we're probably talking hugs that are going to go on forever. We're probably going to worship all night long. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to seeing you. I'm hoping you get to spend time with us, playing, getting to watch the videos, email us, talk to us. Please, again, use the prayer lines. Call me on my cell, 630-453-9112. Call it, text it. Use the email, 180hsdac@gmail.com. Let us know if it's between me, you, and God, or me, you, God, and a host of prayer warriors. Keep in touch. Let us know if there's concerns, any kinds of needs you have. We want to be there for you. You're our family. We love you. We want to be there. So again, looking forward to seeing you guys. If you have tithes and offerings, you can mail it to the church, or you can go to adventistgiving.net. You'll figure it out. It's pretty easy. Just go on there and fill out what you want to do. You can set up an account so you can track history and whatever, but just go on there. And again, let us know that you're okay. Let us know that everything's fine. Let us know that, let us tell you that we love you and miss you. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
be the reason that I live. Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, be the center, be my source, be my life, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Hey, 180 family, it's Pastor Jason, and I'm doing exactly what Steve told me I could do. He said I can just look in the camera and walk around. So, hey, I'm glad you're joining us today. I'm glad that I get to join you. The reason I'm standing right where I am is because I want you to see back behind me are some garden plots. I'm standing in my backyard. And one of the things I've always wanted in my life is I've always wanted to plant a garden, like a good garden, you know. When Mindy and I got married, we were living in a place where we couldn't really plant a garden, and then we ended up moving to Atlanta. And when we were in Atlanta, we were living in an apartment, so there again, couldn't have a garden. Moved to a house, and anyway, on and on and on until when we moved to Tennessee, I planted a garden, and the backyard, really, the soil was pretty bad, and it just wouldn't work. So we moved to Minnesota, and Minnesota's famous for everyone having gardens. Well, we were on a hill, and we couldn't exactly plant a garden there, and then we moved to a new house, and we started one, but then about halfway through the summer, we started getting a phone call to, hey, would you be interested in checking out a little place called Hinsdale? So here's what I'm telling you. When Mindy and I came to check out the church and interview and everything, they brought us to the house, the parsonage, where we would live. And one of the things, in checking out this house, we just feel is gorgeous. We feel like it's a blessing and everything. One of the things that we noticed when we looked out in the backyard is we saw these garden plots here. And I thought, oh, finally I'm going to get to plant my garden, right? I'm really excited about it. So obviously when we came, there was a lot going on. It was too late to really get moving with the garden. But I have been looking forward all winter long and then all spring to getting it ready, and I've been working on it slowly. You have to wait, obviously, until the thaw. It can't dip down into freezing anymore. So over the last few weeks, I've been ripping out some of the old fencing that was around these plots. And like, little short chicken fence, because I think it was to keep, I don't know, to keep, maybe they had a little dog or something. And by the way, I'm pretty sure this was Pastor Schultz that did this. I don't think that Pastor Sager used these plots at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure he didn't. I actually don't know, but regardless, the point still stands. I had to do a lot of work. And here's something else about this garden plot. So I had to not just rip it out, but then I had to install new fencing around it, and I'm still working on it, right? You can see right behind me right there, I've got some corn that's planted, and the rains have pushed it down, and now it's, I don't know. But I also have some other things that are seeds that are germinating and growing and doing their little seedling thing down in the basement. I have a daytime light lamp thing on it, so they'll grow, and they're watered, and they're growing. I'm getting ready to transplant them into the garden plot. But here's the thing, and boy, I've been talking for 4 minutes all to get to this point. I'm going to walk you over there. When I started to work in this garden, the first thing I noticed is not just that it had this, this fencing stuff around it that had to be taken out, but there were a lot of weeds. Can you see that? Just like that, that's just a lot of weeds, right? A lot of weeds. This one, all 4 of these plots were just covered in weeds, just filled with weeds. And obviously, you don't want weeds because they, they choke out the plants. But I wanted to make sure that I had really good quality soil, right? So I started working really hard on these plots. I dug them out and started sifting out all of the dirt. I was sifting out the stuff that had fallen in there from, maybe a dog bone from Pastor Sager's dog, or maybe a nail or 2 or a screw from, whatever, or, I found some stuff there. I found different things here and there. And then of course there's weeds. There's lots of weeds. There's twigs and just stuff. I mean, nothing bad, just stuff. And it requires being very careful. It requires being very intentional. It requires doing a lot of hard work to sift out the soil, because I have to remove the good soil from the things that are in there, the invasive things that are in there. We have weeds, we have grass. It's not bad grass, just you just don't want grass growing in there, right? So I'm trying to sift it all out. And of course my girls are asking me, what are we doing? Can we help? And it's a labor-intensive process, because I had to go build a sifter, which is fine. I don't mind doing it, but and I dig up the grass and the weeds and everything else, and I put it in the sifter, and I'm trying to remove the weed roots. I'm trying to remove the grass roots. I'm trying to remove the twigs and the branches and the rocks and the nails and the little pieces of plastic that have fallen in there from, who knows what, like maybe, a rubber band or whatever. I'm removing all that stuff. And what I've started to do, because now I'm in a little bit of a rush. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the weather to get good enough. But now that the weather is good enough, I need to make sure that I get decent, get my plants in there in a decent time. So now I've been waiting and waiting, but now I'm up against a push, because the soil is really wet and I want to get my plants in there. So basically what I've been doing is, I'm going to take you over here and show you. I've been digging it out, and I've been sifting it through my sifter, and I've been spraying it out with a hose. And that's creating, all kinds of mud and all kinds of nastiness, and it is a multi-step process. First of all, I'm digging it up. Second of all, hold on a second. Sorry about that. I have little people watching me and interrupting me as I'm trying to record. You can imagine anyway. So it's a multi-step process, right? I dig out the dirt and the rocks and everything. I sift it, and then I rinse it out, and then I dump the water through a strainer to make, once again, get everything clean and good. And then I scoop out all of the mud and put it into a bucket so that I can put it back, I can reintroduce it back into the garden plot. All of this, right? It's multi-step. There's a lot going on. I'm thinking this whole time about the sifting that I'm doing. And I'm thinking this whole time about not just the sifting I'm doing, but I'm thinking about the things that we're going through, the things we're living through right now. The reality is, this is a difficult time for everyone. It doesn't matter if you still have your job and everything is hunky-dory in your life. This is still a challenging time. We're still dealing with things we've never dealt with before, and we're still trying to figure things out, and we're still trying to figure out what it means to be socially distant and wear masks everywhere we go, and not be able to go to the grocery store like we normally do, or whatever. It's a difficult time. It's a time that's demanding. So I have been giving a lot of thought to, and if you've been watching the snippets week or day by day, you've been seeing that I don't buy into this concept or this idea that we need to be afraid. I think that God is with us, and I think that God is holding our hand throughout all of this, and I don't think that this is something that we need to be afraid of. I really don't. I think that there are some fearful things attached to it that are certainly, scary or whatever. But I don't think we need to be afraid. And I, just to be really honest, I get really angry when I think about the people that are taking advantage of. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm back again. One of the things about preaching, typically when you're preaching in a church, it's socially inappropriate to be running up to your daddy and trying to get his attention and stuff, but that's not the case here, right? So I'm standing in my backyard on a Friday night, family's trying to roast marshmallows and have, anyway. Back to what I was saying. I really take issue with these people, these supposed pastors or whatever, that use fear-mongering at this time to tell people, hey, this is the end and we need to be terrified, we need to be afraid. Look, I'm not saying that this isn't the end. I think that every day that passes, we're getting closer and closer to Jesus' return. I'm not saying this isn't the end. What I am saying is this. I don't think that this is something to be terrified of. I don't think that this is, I mean, to be super honest, I don't think that this is the end. I think that things are going to change, just like they changed after September 11. I think that life was just different, and now we look back and we think about certain things and we think, what was it like? Do you remember, for those of you that can remember, you used to be able to walk with your friend or your loved one or whatever to the gate to say goodbye, or you used to be able to meet them right when the plane landed. And things have changed, and that's that things are just different. I think things are going to be different as a result of this. But I have a problem with these pastors and spiritual leaders and whatever that try to scare people into getting right with God or getting baptized or whatever, because even though I take this seriously, and even though I do think that Jesus' return is soon, and I do think that we are closer to it, and I do think that this is related to that, I don't think that these people that are scaring others, I don't think that that's the work of God. And I'm going to get to my point here. I know I've been talking a lot. I think back to the story of Jeremiah. Jeremiah, he is left behind in Jerusalem, right? This is when Daniel and his friends were taken captive to Babylon. And Jeremiah is left behind. And Jeremiah is left there in Jerusalem, and there are these prophets that are around. And these prophets come along and they say, hey, look, everything's going to be fine. God is going to restore his kingdom, and the captives are going to be brought back from Babylon, and everything's going to be good. And Jeremiah's like, wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, what we know is that later on, he gets a word from the Lord that says, that's not true. Those people, those prophets that are saying stuff like that, they're not speaking my words. Those prophets that are saying stuff like that, those are false prophets. And I've been thinking about these false prophets, right? And I think it goes both ways. I think that you have false prophets that say, hey, everything's going to be fine, when everything is not fine. But then I think, especially in times like this, that it goes the other way too. I think that there are these false prophets that say, freak out everyone, we are watchmen on the wall, so we need to be terrified, and we need to be alert, and we need to wake up, and blah, blah, blah. When the reality is, I think those are false prophets, because they're freaking people out, and God hasn't given us a spirit of freaking out, right? God has given us a spirit of assurity, knowing that he's beside us and he's with us. So back to the sifting. The sifting didn't hurt the soil that I did, right? The sifting that I did is beneficial for the soil. the sifting that I do with this garden is because I'm trying to grow something healthy and good. And the sifting is it's not a scary thing. It's just a matter of I have to take certain things out and remove other things. So when you hear people talking about like, this is the shaking and we're being sifted, you know, I think there again, I think about what we're told. We know that there's a shaking or a sifting coming, right? We know Amos 9 talks about that we're going to be sifted. I don't think sifting is a bad thing. I don't think shaking is a bad thing, and I don't think it's a scary thing. I think that if you're good soil, then the you know, as the gardener, right, of my plot right here, as the gardener of my plot, I'm not trying to get rid of any good soil. In fact, I'm trying to keep all the good soil I can keep. In fact, even some of the soil that's, you know, maybe questionable, like, I don't know, maybe I didn't get all of the twigs out or whatever, I'm still holding on to that because there's still good qualities in it, right? So because I'm doing the sifting, all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to remove the bad stuff. That's all. So if this is the shaking, if this is the sifting that, you know, God's church is going to be going through or whatever, I'm not scared because I'm not infiltrating, you know, God's church with bad ideas or scary things or whatever. The sifting is a good thing. The shaking is a good thing. And here's the other thing I want to say, and then I promise I'll wrap this up. As I'm going through this garden, I'm looking at all the work that needs to be done. I'm thinking about how this would have to be done regardless of whether I was doing this every single year or not, right? If I'd been here for the last 10 years and had been faithfully tending this garden every single year, I would still have to prepare the soil every single year, right? I wouldn't have to do it as much. I wouldn't have as much work to do, but I would still have to do it. But here's the thing. I think that these plots have been sitting empty or fallow or haven't been paid any attention to since Pastor Schultz was here. I think. Again, I don't know. Maybe Pastor Sager did work in this. I don't know. And if so, you know, you can correct me or he can correct me or whatever. This isn't, you know, saying anything about either one of them. What I am saying is this. I think that it's possible that Pastor Sager didn't touch these plots, which is fine. I mean, you know, you can do whatever you want with your own backyard. I don't care. But the very fact that these plots have sat empty and not tended to for a couple years means that there's a little bit more work to do. And I think that when the crisis in our life comes, I think when the hard times come, I think when the times come that we need to really be trying to focus on making sure that the soil of our heart is good, the more time that we've been neglecting, the more work there is to do. So just 2 words of encouragement for you. The first is, don't be scared. I think that the shaking, I think the sifting it's a natural thing. It's a good thing. Second thing is, you know, if you have been letting the soil of your heart go fallow and you haven't been super careful about the things that maybe have been getting into the garden of your life, well, now's a good time to work on that. Now's a good time to change that. Now's a good time to pay attention to that. Because we all have sifting that we need to do. Anyway, I hope you've heard all of this amidst the giggling and the screaming and the happy children's noises. Thanks for letting me share with you today. Happy Sabbath, church family.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Marshall Morlock. This is one of my songs called Fire. Colin wants me to play it for you guys, so here we go.
your shoulders and you held it. So when I turn around, all I see is your footprints in the sand. 'Cause I'm on fire, feels like every day. I'm on fire, feels like every day. Show me how it's supposed to be.
Jesus, you are the reason I live. Whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. When I think of the things you've done for me, yeah, I know you are the reason I live. And I wanna know you won't stay. God, please open my eyes and show me your way. You are the reason I live in this world. You are the one I want to be like. You are the reason I live in this world. Show me the way to live. I wanna be like you, Jesus. You are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Now think of the things you've done for me. Jesus, you are the reason I live. And I wanna know you won't stay. God, please open my eyes and show me your way. You are the reason I live in this world. You are the one I want to be like. You are the reason I live in this world. Show me the way to live. I wanna be like you, Jesus. You are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. I'll always go your way, and I will never change. You will be the one for all my days. I'll always go your way, and that will never change. You will be the one for all of my days. You are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Oh, whoa, Jesus, you are the reason I live. Yeah, Jesus, you are the